Hey guys, it's Akash from AD Bangin, and in today's video I'll be making two beats using the loops from my friend DT's Jupiter loop kit. So I have it here. It is a free loop kit put together by DT with whom I make videos on this channel, and it consists of some short loops that you can use to make beats for yourself. So I'll give a link to that in the description as well. So first let's get started. The tempo is 120 BPM. The loop is also the same. So yeah, now what I'll do is I'll create a pattern here. So basically what happened was that I had made all these patterns. I had recorded the whole thing, but then the file got corrupted. So that was quite the disaster, and I'm recording everything right now. So let me delete all these patterns first. Yeah, so I'll create in the pattern. Let me drag this on here first. Select song mode, pattern 2. I'll drag it on here. Let this be 4 bars long. So I drag this pattern here. Now I'll go to the channel rack where I have grouped all these drums into a group called drums. So I'll dive right into it. Now what I like to do is I like to begin with the hi-hats first. So I'll right click here and fill each two steps. Right click on this. So let's start listening to it. Yeah, now I'll place the rims. Rims go on the third and the seventh step. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, just like that. And I'll place my my clap right here, just like that. Now I'll do the kicks. So one thing you should keep in mind is that whenever there is a clap, whenever on a step there is a clap, there shouldn't be any kicks or 808s. Otherwise, it's going to interfere with the clap, and it's not gonna sound really good. It's gonna sound confusing. So I'll go to the piano roll, select this, and I'll replicate it, and I'll close the piano roll. And I'll delete this kick right here. Now I'll go to I'll just copy the kick by pressing Ctrl C. Select this, press Ctrl C, and select the 808. Press Ctrl V. What you should do is go right click on this 808 first, and then select cut itself, so that when this starts, this doesn't continue, so it doesn't interfere. It just stops and the new step starts. I left click on it, and you will be welcomed by this. Now go to the wrench icon right here, which is miscellaneous functions, and I'll increase the shift a bit. Now let's take a listen to it without the shift, and let's take a listen to it with the shift. Wait. Okay, so now let's take a listen to it. This is without the shift. And now let's take a listen to it with the shift. So as you might have observed, the 808s after increasing the shift hit just after the kick. So yeah, that sounds nice. Now I'll go to the hi-hat, the other one, which sounds like this. I'll create a roll. So for that I'll place a note over here and extend it. Press Ctrl and click on it so that it selects the note. Then I'll go to the wrench icon here again and select chop. The shortcut for this is Alt U. Now using this time multiplicator, you can select how many times it chops it. So this is 0, all of these. This is 2, 4 and 8 and so on. So the 8 might sound a bit excessive, so always start with 4 in that's what I have to say. So yeah, then I'll press down shift and drag it to the side, which replicates it. Then what I'll do here is I'll place some notes here and here. I'll place a note in between. Let me zoom in a bit, and I'll select these and I'll press Alt and then shorten these, and then I'll press Alt again and I'll drag it to the middle of this pattern. So that creates a nice effect, if you ask me. I'll change this up a bit. Now what I'll do is I'll press Alt R on my keyboard and deselect this pattern, and I'll change the velocities and releases a bit. I'll also do the same for the other hi-hat. I'll accept it so that it sounds a bit more human. So now that we have our drums all figured out, what I'll do is I'll go to the pattern selector right here, click on this arrow and press shift split by channel, so it splits everything up. I'll bring this to track 3 and I'll delete everything. Now what I'll do is I'll press C on my keyboard. Make sure this is not selected. C on my keyboard to select the chop tool, and I'll chop this in half. Yeah, and I'll press P to go to the pen tool again. You can also, where is it? You can also select the pen tool and chop tool or anything from here. But using keyboard shortcuts just makes it easier. Now what I'll do is I'll press shift on my keyboard, click on the 808 first and press shift on my keyboard. Select the clap first, and so that it selects everything. Now I'll just drag it here. So I'll arrange the beat and I'll come back. Okay, so yeah, I just completely forgot that we had to mix the beat. So what I'll do is I'll drag this. I'll also bring these down. And I'll solo this first and then enable everything. And we can go to the start. Now I'll open up the mixer where I already had done the mixing. So I'll just reset it and then we'll do it again. So what I had done is that I had loaded up a bunch of effects onto the mixer, but yeah, due to the crash we lost everything. So let's start mixing. I haven't enabled any of these effects, by the way. So as you can see, the drums almost reached 0 here. So what I did was I went to the master, I added this fruity limiter, which I decreased everything in here, and now I'll enable it. and I also decreased the ceiling a bit. So this green line is the ceiling. No sound will go above this ceiling. I don't know what. And the next thing I did was I loaded this Fruity multi-band compressor, and I went to the right click on this arrow and go to the mastering 2.4 decibel preset, and then I enable it. So for the 808, what I did was I added a fast distortion right here, and I decreased the mix quite a bit. So without the mix, it just sounds horrible. So I decreased the mix, and I also add a fruity bloody overdrive, which will use to make a automation clip. So let me just do that. Uh, Wait, I'll do it afterwards. Uh, so in the overdrive, what I did was I increased the post filter quite a bit, and I decreased the post gain. Post gain is usually full, but I decreased it. And for the kick, I have a soft clipper and an EQ. So what I did in the EQ was I went to the presets, right click here and go to this 30 plus 18 kilohertz cut. And what I did here was for this to this point, I just scroll down on the scroll wheel so that it just enhances these lower frequencies just a bit more than these. Let me enable the EQ. So as you can see, majority of our frequencies are here. And in the soft clipper, I maxed out the threshold and increased the post gain a bit. So in the hi-hat, what we'll do is we'll decrease the volume a bit, because we don't want our hi-hats to be the center of attraction here. Yeah. So what I did is this labs here is a counter melody which you'll listen in a while. So the plugin here used is Labs by Spitfire Audio. It is a free instrument sampler, and I'll give a link to that in the description as well. So I have the soft piano preset here loaded up, and I have increased the reverb to about 40%. So yeah, I have a parametric EQ for that too. And what I did was I eliminated the low frequencies right here. So this point was like this, and I just lowered it down. So now I have enabled it, and we didn't need to apply any effects to the drum channel. So as you can see, all the drums are hooked up directly to this bus, and this then goes to the master. So how you do that is you press down controls and select everything, then right click on this knob and go to route to this track only. So that might help you if you want to apply an effect on all the drums and you don't want to do that for every drum there is. So now once we have our drums mixed up, what I'll do is I'll enable everything, and I'll create an automation clip for this volume right here, and I'll create an automation clip for this blood overdrive, sorry, bloody. Now what I'll do is I'll make a point here, I'll copy the value from here and I'll paste it, drag it down and create a curve, and what I'll do here is I'll just bring these 808s from here. So what the blood overdrive basically does is that when I've applied the so what the blood overdrive basically does is that it makes the 808 sound a bit muffled when we have it at these settings. which are the increased post filter and the decreased post gain. So what I'll do is I'll create a point over here, and I'll right click on it and select hold, and I'll drag this down, and I'll do the same here, create different points and then decrease everything. So basically, yeah, so this is our finished beat. Before taking a listen to it, I'll just add my producer tag right here, uh, right on the playlist. I call this a finished beat, and let's take a listen to it now. It's baby. So yeah, that was the first beat. It was a slow one. So I'll return with another loop, and let's make this one a faster one. So yeah, I'll come back. So I'm back with another loop, and this is a really fast one, a 170. I'm planning to change. I'm planning on changing it to 150. So let's see how this sounds. So yeah, now what I'll do is I'll right click on this tempo meter, and I'll type in the value to 150, and it'll ask restretch. So you press yes. So that sounds pretty good. Now I'll go to the channel rack, and I'll start with my drums. Here also I have grouped them up. So I'll again start with the hi-hats. Now what I'll do is this process is going to be very similar to the first beat. So I'll just fast forward it, and I'll come back when I'm finished. Now let's mix the beat. So what I had also done is that I had applied effects on the tracks. So for the kick we have an EQ similar to that of the previous one, and a soft clipper. And in the master now I have a multi-band compressor. Also, sorry, a love filter. Yeah, so I'll enable everything. And for the 808 again, I have the fast distortion and the overdrive with very similar settings. These all the drums that I used were this are the same that I had used in the previous beat. So yeah, and I have nothing here. In the drums bus, I have a fruity compressor, and I increased the gain just a bit. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I don't have any other effects, and it's just the normal regular mixing that we do. So I'll yeah, that this happens. So what if it happens? What do you do? So you go firstly go to this uh, row here where there are numbers written, and then scroll down so that it zooms out horizontally, and then press alt and scroll down so that it zooms out vertically. So yeah, now I'll control select everything and I'll delete. So now that I have arranged the bit, I'll go to the mixer, and I'll make the automation clip for the master volume. I'll make one for the low filter, and I'll make one for the overdrive. So I believe we have it already. Yeah, we have it already. So what I'll do is I'll just drag it on. So yeah, that's the finished bit. Now let's take a listen to it.
It's AVB.
As you might have noticed, the drum arrangement that we used in this beat is also the same that we used in the previous beat. So using a different loop can change the beat completely. Can become sad, can become happy. That's what it is basically. And yeah, if you liked the video, drop a like. Consider subscribing to our channel for such awesome uploads weekly. And share this video with your friends and family. And I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.